Imagine this. You wake up one morning, ready to go, only to find that air travel has just stopped. And I don't mean a few delays. I mean a massive global grounding of one of the world's most popular airplanes. Today, we're going to break down exactly how that happened. And this was the reality for literally tens of thousands of people. This quote from a passenger in New Zealand just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures what was happening at airports all over the world. Just confusion, total frustration, and this feeling that the whole system had just completely fallen apart. Okay, so let's set the scene. The year is 2025. It's November. And suddenly, with almost no warning, thousands of flights are just canceled. The story of why is incredible. It connects the farthest reaches of our solar system with the computer code running inside our most advanced machines. To really get the cause, you first have to understand the sheer scale of the effect. And it all started with, you guessed it, absolute chaos right there at the gate. This number, this is the heart of the entire crisis. Over 6,000. That's how many Airbus A320 family jets were flying around the globe. And, this isn't some rare specialty aircraft. This is the workhorse of modern aviation, the plane you've probably flown on dozens of times for short and medium-haul flights. And this really shows the domino effect. Grounding these planes caused a total system meltdown. We're talking massive cancellations, people stranded thousands of miles from home, and huge airport hubs like London, Singapore, you name it, they were just completely paralyzed. For the airlines, a total logistical nightmare. So what could possibly trigger a shutdown this big? Well, the order didn't come from any government or from air traffic control. Nope, it came directly from the people who built the planes. And there it is. Airbus themselves issued an emergency, mandatory software recall. That word mandatory is everything here. It means airlines had zero choice. They had to pull their entire A320 fleets out of the sky until a fix was installed. This was, effectively, a grounding order on a global scale. Now, what's wild is seeing just how wide this net was cast. We're talking about giant airlines on every single continent. Jetstar in Australia, United and American in the US, Indigo in India, EasyJet over in Europe. The list just goes on and on. In a flash, their operations were thrown into complete disarray. A software recall is one thing, but the reason for it? That's where this story takes a turn into something that sounds like science fiction. The problem wasn't a typo in the code or some mechanical part failing. No, the real culprit was 93 million miles away. To get this, we need a super quick science lesson. Okay, so the sun is always blasting out the stream of charged particles. That's solar radiation. Most of the time, our planet's atmosphere protects us, no problem. But during a really intense solar flare, that stream becomes a high-energy storm that can just wreak havoc on sensitive electronics. And here is that unbelievable chain of events. So an intense solar flare erupts. That radiation smacks into Earth's atmosphere. And this is the really critical part. It interfered with the super-sensitive flight control sensors on the A320s. They started getting garbage data, which then triggered a hidden software vulnerability that nobody even knew existed. An event in deep space had literally grounded an airplane on Earth. Just wow. I mean, it's an incredible situation. Right? But it immediately raised this huge logistical question that airlines and engineers all over the world had to answer, and they had to answer it fast. What happened next was one of the most intense, coordinated tech efforts in the history of aviation. It was a frantic, worldwide race to get a software update out there and get these planes back in the air. So here's the bottom line. The problem was digital, and the solution had to be digital too. A very specific software patch was created to fix the bug. But updating your laptop is one thing. Trying to update over 6,000 highly regulated, flying supercomputers, well, that's a whole other challenge. And this slide really breaks down that massive challenge. You have Airbus trying to coordinate with hundreds of airlines in every single time zone. And yeah, the patch itself only took about an hour to install, but you had to physically take each plane out of service to do it. It was a mad scramble to get engineers to the aircraft, apply the fix, all while trying to handle the unbelievable travel chaos still going on. So once the dust settled from the immediate crisis, this whole event forced the entire aviation industry, and really all of us, to ask a much bigger, more profound question about the technology we rely on every day. For decades, when we thought about threats to aviation, we thought about physical things, right? Bad weather, engine trouble, human error.
This event showed us something totally new. Our most critical systems are now so dependent on complex software that they become vulnerable to things we never even used to consider, like the weather in space.
And really, that's the big takeaway from all this. The A320 crisis was fixed, planes got flying again, but it was a massive wake-up call for the whole world. And it leaves us with this really important question to think about. As our technology gets more and more powerful, more and more connected, what other invisible threats, what other blind spots are we missing?